All right, let's get to our lesson. Welcome, Caitlin. Welcome to Cybersecurity. Let's take a look at what we're doing. Oh man, I didn't get this charged too well. It's my ear's going to die on me today. I guess I didn't turn it off last night. I should have turned it off because it was charged. All right, let me put this up on the screen. We'll get started here. Looking at our cybersecurity class. Let's go to the grade screen first. That's where I like to go look to see. We had this lesson 2 weeks ago. This is what was due yesterday. So hopefully you got those turned in, 1.02, 1.03. And I think in here everyone did. Yep, everyone's got everything turned in. This week we have one lesson, 1.04, defense mechanisms. And next week we'll have one lesson and a discussion-based assessment. We'll talk about that next week. And then our exam. So we have one lesson, discussion-based assessment exam. So we're going to finish up this unit next week. This week, we're just going to do defense mechanisms 1.04. So let's switch over here. Here's our 1.04. All right, what comes to mind when you think of cybersecurity defense mechanisms? If you answered firewalls, antivirus, software patches, you're correct, because all of these are considered defense mechanisms. They all provide a strong foundation against potential cyber threats. So let's take a look at how these are used to fight the war on cyber crimes. We have this lovely little video, and it is 1:26.
A long time ago, in a universe far, far away. Wait a minute. That can't be right. Oh, okay, I've got it now. A not so long time ago in, well, this universe, a battle is being fought. But not a battle for space, one for your confidential data. Like the captain of a starship, cybersecurity pros set up defenses against those looking to steal personal information. Attacks can come from viruses, malware, or hostile traffic. Cyber attackers are creative, so it takes an arsenal of shields to fully protect valuable information. Industry professionals use 3 primary cybersecurity shields. First is antivirus software, which is specifically designed to detect and destroy computer viruses. Next, there's anti-malware software. It's designed to detect software that tries to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. And finally, there are protocol analyzers, one of the most important tools in network security. These are used to detect hostile or malicious traffic passing over an unauthorized port. It takes all 3 shields to have a solid defense system in place. As you explore the future of cybersecurity, keep defense mechanisms in mind. They're the key to winning the battle for your information. Now, may the shield be with you.
Well, that's certainly a good point there. The key to winning the cyber attack war is to defend, to not let them to get into your network in the first place. And so the better we get at that, the less successful the attacks will be, and pretty soon it won't be worth their time if they never break in. So security control type. So security control, let's click on that. That's a safeguard or countermeasure to avoid, detect, counteract, or minimize security risks to physical property, information, computer systems, other assets. A security control, known as a countermeasure, is designed to make an information system secure. That makes sense. It's also designed to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data in information systems. That CIA triad we talked about before: confidential, integrity, availability. Security controls can be divided into 3 broad categories. So here's the 3 categories of security controls. Administrative. So that refers to like the policies, the procedures, and the guidelines that define employee actions. Here's our computer policy. If you're going to be an employee, here's how you are allowed to use the computers. So like this can apply to an employee hiring and termination, security awareness training, disaster preparedness, recovery plans, consistent security audits. Technical controls. That includes the hardware and the software that's designed to protect your assets. All those things you put in place to protect your network, like encryption, firewalls, smart cards, network authentication, and access control lists. And then there's the physical, like actually having your door locked to your business and your computer equipment. Physical controls are items that deter access to buildings and hardware. Security cameras, a part of that, alarm systems, security guards, photo IDs, door locks, fingerprint scanners. So that's the three types of security controls: administrative, which is your policies, your technical, which is all your computers and software, and the physical. So control functions. Additionally, these controls, both the administrative, the technical, and physical, can be divided into types depending on the function of those type of controls. So they could be preventive controls. That's any security measures that's designed to stop unwanted activity from happening to start with, right? One example is like a security fence around a building to keep out intruders that aren't authorized to be there. So that's a preventative. Detective. So that's any security measures that are implemented to detect and alert someone that something's happened, like a home alarm or a security camera that sets off an alarm when a camera sees somebody in an area they're not supposed to be. Or there's software controls let you know when somebody's in your system. Deterrent controls. They discourage attackers from putting on a noticeable show of security. It's like, wow, look at that. They've got security cameras, they got fences, they have guard dogs, they have security walking by. See, that would be a deterrent. I don't think I'm going to try to break into that building because of all the security that I can see. And there's same type of things with hackers trying to get in. They can see you've got firewalls and encryption. And a lot of times when they try to get in your network and they see all the different ways you have it set up, that can be a deterrent. So this psychologically discourages an attacker from attempting the intrusion. Yeah, you have a sign that says no trespassing. You've got barbed wire fencing. You've got security dogs. You got cameras. You got security guards. That's all psychologically. They just look at it and say, I'm not even going to try that. Then there's corrective controls. That's any measures taken to repair damage to their prior state following an unauthorized activity. Might be patching a system or quarantining a virus that gets into the network. And then compensating controls. They don't prevent an attack, but they help restore afterwards, like data backup. Having a data backup is a compensating control. Oh, man, somebody got in. They wiped all this information out, but we've got it saved here so we can put it back. Compensating controls. So let's see. A business installs motion-activated lights around its building perimeter. What category and function? Right? Well, that's physical. Right? That was the three categories, right? Administrative, technical, or physical. So that's a physical control. And that would be motion-activated lights could be a deterrent. It could be detective because it detects and alerts. So it could fall into a couple different categories. Let's see which one they put it under. Oh, they said saying detecting and deterring. They did that. It is physical. So they agree. It could be either one. It could be, you could argue it's detective because the light goes on when it senses someone there, or a deterrent because someone sees that and it's like, I'm not going to try to get in there. So more than one correct answer there. And they are physical, obviously. All right, let's look at page 4. Layered security. Of course, yeah, you don't want just one thing. I just put up a no trespassing sign. That's good enough. No, you also should have like fence, maybe security guards, maybe a locked door. There's a lot more than, so you want layered security is the best protection. And let's see what their definition of that. Security designed so that an intruder must bypass more than one control to achieve action on objectives to get in. With layered security in place, an attacker must go through multiple defense mechanisms. Risks are reduced with layered security. No single control is considered untouchable, but layered security can delay an attacker until it can be detected. If they have to go through a whole bunch of different things, they may get caught before they get to where they're trying to go. And that could be in your computer's network or physically into your building. The efficiency of each control can be measured by how long it delays an attack. So let's consider the following scenario. A student creates a presentation and saves the file onto a USB drive. All right, so they have it saved to a file. They place the USB drive on the teacher's desk. Here you go. I'm turning it in. So the teacher finds the device and plugs it in without even thinking about it. Boom. Well, from that point, the teacher's computer is now vulnerable to malware. Maybe that USB drive had a virus on it. So in addition to the student presentation, the USB drive could be carried malware, a Trojan, or a virus to the teacher's computer. Not even thinking about it. And maybe the student didn't even know there was a virus on it. And now they've spread the virus to the teacher's computer. So training, proper user training could prevent that from being left unattended on desk and being used without a scan first. Have it scanned to make sure there's no virus on it before you open it. Intrusion detection. If the computer is compromised, intrusion detecting and login alerts could prevent the malware from spreading onto the network. Keep it just on that computer. Oh, you open this, it has virus. Hopefully you've got some alerts that lock it down where the computer can't spread it to the rest of the school. And security controls computer could scan the disk for malware and block access automatically. I know when I plug in, I've got good antivirus on my computer. When I plug in a USB drive, it says, would you like to scan this? So I can scan it first before I click to open it. Just because I plugged it in. There are some really nasty viruses out there that once you plug it in may self-activate itself, but having good antivirus can help detect and prevent that. Countermeasures. Okay, so something's already happened if we need countermeasures. A network-based intrusion prevention system, or we can call it NIPS, is a countermeasure, an action taken to counteract a danger or threat, used to monitor network traffic for suspicious activity. Its main function is to actively protect the network from threats like unauthorized access or denial of service attacks. This is done by analyzing the protocol activity using a protocol analyzer. That's a tool used to capture and analyze signals and data traffic over a communication channel. I know we throw a lot of phrases at you in this class. I don't expect you to understand what all these are, but be able to go back and reference this. If we ask questions about it, go back and look at the lesson. Okay, so they said that protocol analyzer is hardware or software that analyzes signals and data traffic. A drawback to NIPS is that a false positive could deny legitimate traffic. Maybe someone's trying to log into the network and for some reason their name got left off, their username got left off the security software, and so it won't let it in because, oh, no, you're not authorized. Well, I am, but I'm a new hire and they didn't update it. They didn't update it to tell them I'm a new hire. So they can't get in. So it could have a false positive. And, so they can't examine the encrypted traffic. So this is where a host-based system, could be HIPS, can work in tandem with that. So the NIPS device might prevent a denial of service attack where a HIPS solution can focus on protection of the software and data on a host. So do a little layout for us. Here's all your computers in your company. They're connected to a router, which is connected to this NIPS device, the network-based intrusion prevention system. That has a firewall between that and the internet, right? So we block a lot of things with your firewall. And then you may have another one over here, another NIPS device connected to this hard drive, which holds web stuff, DNS stuff, and emails. So to protect anything from the internet getting to this hard drive that has all this information saved. So a NIPS system and a HIPS system, we're gonna compare those, which makes me think you'll probably have a question about that on the assignment this week. A NIPS system can reset a network session. It can apply firewall filters to reject traffic. It can reduce bandwidth speeds, right? It can modify packets and run a script or other process. A HIPS system has the ability to monitor log files, system integrity, network interfaces, and process launches. It can run agent software and manage and send alerts regarding suspicious users. All right, so that's the difference between the HIPS and the NIPS. Page 6. All right, they want a knowledge check here. So which of these would be considered an administrative control? I'll open up the chat so you can answer that. Which is considered an administrative control? Would that be the policy, the camera, the firewall, or the antivirus? If you think back, we said there's three kinds. There's administrative, there was physical, and then there was your electronic, your hardware, software. Anyone gonna take a guess? I have an algebra class now, and I'm going to start taking roll during class at times like this. I'm going to take roll because there are some people that's logging on, turning off the camera, and leaving class. So that means they're absent. So that way, if I took roll right now, anyone that's not able to say, okay, I'm here, or raise your hand, or show me your face, would just be counted absent in class. Because here we're having a lesson and no one is present, right? So that's another reason I do these chat things from time to time. Put your guess in the chat so I know you're here. He says, that's a policy, Cade says. Let's see if Cade is right. Administrative control. Absolutely. Yeah, because the administrator. Good job, Caitlin. Caitlin's got it on there also, policy. Let's look at question number 2. Which control function describes security measures designed to prevent unwanted activity? That's the key word. Prevent. That almost answers itself, doesn't it? Because then your choices are compensating, preventive, corrective, deterrent. Prevent has the word right in there. Surely that's right. Griffin's on it. Correct. Absolutely. Sometimes the questions answer themselves. We like that. What's considered a drawback to NIPS? One of the things that NIPS hurts your system. Is it because it's considered outdated? It doesn't actively actually protect the network. Could be a false positive that denies legitimate people from access. Or, trick question, there's no drawbacks. Remember what we said could be a bad thing about NIPS? You can go back and review that in the lesson too, but thought you might remember that. You can just put a word or two. You don't have to type the whole sentence, by the way. Well, we can rule out number 4. There is a drawback. So this was a trick answer, not a trick question. This is not correct. There is a drawback to NIPS. Remember what I said about that new user that just got hired? Right. Could be a false positive. Maybe it wasn't updated. So a false positive. All right, last question. Which device is an example of a physical access control? A physical access control. Something that physically keeps intruders out, or is a deterrent, perhaps, to where they see that you have this in place and decide not to do it. Okay, thinks it's a video camera. Now, absolutely. A video camera would be a physical access control that would serve as a deterrent or even detection, because you would see them in places they're not supposed to be. The policy is, it's administrative. Firewall and router are both part of the network security, but the physical would be this. All right. Even though a router is a physical thing, it's not going to control anything because it doesn't stop anyone from getting in. All right, that is the end of the lesson. So let's look at the assignment that goes with this. Get 3 attempts again. So if you don't do well the first time, you get a couple other tries. Which type of security control regulates policies, procedures, guidelines? There it is. The administrative, the technical, organization, or physical. A business installs a fence. What category and functions would that be? How does a network-based intrusion system protect the network? 5 questions. All right, just a 5-question quiz. I'll leave that there. So one lesson this week, just one assignment. Next week, we're going to wrap this up because we're going to do the career connection assignment, discussion based, which we'll talk about next week, and then the actual exam. So next week, we'll wrap everything up with this and move on to our next unit. So, all right, everybody. If you've got any questions, hang around. Otherwise, I'll let you go early. You got time to go have some breakfast before first period. So, all right. Have a great week. It's a B day Friday, so